know how to run these deals.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. All right, everybody. Welcome back. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Welcome back to Animal House Radio, live via American Forces Network. And as usual, we got a great show for you lined up. We have some special people in the house tonight. Uh, this man is a legendary actor. He's been doing his thing for over 40 years, maybe longer. Who knows? And it's an honor to have him on our show tonight. Please welcome the very iconic and legendary Barry Corbin.
Well, how y'all doing?
Barry, thank you so much.
Like 60 years.
Oh, 60. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll never get that wrong.
A lot of it was on stage early on, but then later I got into film. I got into film about 45 years ago.
Oh, wow. Was that something that you decided to do, or was it just by luck, or you set out to do that?
Well, from the time I was about 7 years old, that's what I said I was going to do.
Oh, and wow.
I just never grew up, I guess.
Oh, wow. Now, who was your,
still in the process of becoming an adult.
Yeah. Now, who was your influences early on?
Oh, they were several. Ben Johnson was one of them. I was a big fan of his in those cavalry pictures because he could ride a horse. Most of those guys couldn't ride horses. And I always admired him. We got to be good friends the last 10 or 15 years of his life. So that was a treat. And Harry Carey Jr., his buddy in a lot of those movies. And let's see, Walter Brennan was a big influence on me, and Gabby Hayes and some of those old toothless guys, you know.
Oh wow, yeah.
Finally old enough to play those parts. They weren't old enough to play them back in those days.
Yeah. Now, Barry, I know that you hail from Texas, and you know, and I hope everything's back to normal down there, and our prayers are with everybody down there. But you know, being that you grew up in Texas, I'm surprised when you were down here that how come you didn't scramble 2 F-16s out of Galena and straighten them out?
Well, I should have, I imagine, but I left it up to the local fellas, you know.
I hear you.
Actually, we came through it pretty good. My wife and my mother-in-law and I, we didn't have any power loss, or the only thing we lost was hot water. We didn't have any hot water for a while.
Oh wow!
But now we're okay. And we had some people come sleep in my office because they lost power. So they came over and slept in my office for a couple of nights. But it wasn't too bad for us, but it was pretty rough for a lot of people.
Wow. Well, we're hopefully everything is back to normal. Yeah.
I think Jackson, Mississippi, still doesn't have any water.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Just for everybody who's tuning in, joining me tonight is my wingman, my quintessential wingman, John Santo, comedian, ventriloquist extraordinaire. John, thank you for sitting in tonight, and I know you must have a lot of questions for Barry as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge War Games fan. Big when I was 13 years old when that came out. So everybody in my high school loved that movie.
Well, I guess I was 40 when it came out.
Yep.
Or 41 or 2, I guess. Maybe. Yep. I don't know. I lose track of all those things. I don't even know how old I am now.
Oh, that's too funny.
Quintessential wingman, John Santo, comedian.
So Barry, I mean, I admire you so much because like you show no signs of slowing down, and I think that's the coolest thing in the world.
No, I can't slow down. I've got the momentum going. If I slow down, I'll just sit down.
No, I hear you. You got to keep moving. You know, it's strange though. I have so many questions for you. I mean, you started out at a young age, and you know, everybody loves War Games, and you know, the phenomenal TV show Northern Exposure, where you played an astronaut and an ex-Marine, and but I'll tell you, I mean, I go back with you in the movies to like Stir Crazy and Any Which Way You Can, and Six Pack and Nothing in Common. So yeah. I wanted to start there. you know, I tell you, one of the TV movies that you did was so impactful back in the 80s. And it was a fantastic movie. It's called The Killing of Randy Webster.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the first thing I did with Hal Holbrook and Dixie Carter. Actually, they met on that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, but that was a true story, wasn't it?
It was a true story, and it was also a very early job for oh gosh, people's names escape me now. I remember I remember his father. His father was Leo Penn. It's Sean Penn. It was
okay.
A very early picture for him, and he really knocked Hal and me out in the scene we had with him. He was really right on track all the time. He was good.
Oh wow, John, you want to jump in here or?
Yeah. So one of the questions that everybody wanted me to ask you was, where was the scene in NORAD filmed? Where was that big control room? You know,
that was on the largest sound stage at MGM, and it was the sound stage that they had Munchkin Land on in Wizard of Oz.
Oh wow!
So we half the sound stage was the NORAD headquarters, and the other half was the part for the back projectors for the screens.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays they'd just shoot it on a green screen. You know, we'd just have a green screen. They could put all the stuff up there. Then we had to do it if they were shooting over our shoulders onto the screen. If somebody blew a line or something, they had to go back and reset everything.
Right.
We'd have to take a break for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I read that it was run off of an Apple II computer, all those screens, and they had to adjust the frame rate and everything.
Yeah.
There was a lot of technical issues with those big monitors.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff going on. I didn't know anything about that. Dabney and I'd sit out there and insult each other all the time when they'd shut down. I talked to old Dabney the other day. He's doing well.
Yeah, we haven't heard from him in a long time. And he's somebody I would love to interview because he's like yourself. He's so iconic, and it still shows no signs of slowing down. And that's what I love the best, you know. Speaking of working, Barry, I mean, everybody, you know, had some downtime. How did you handle being like quarantined and with the COVID? And because I know you were always working.
Well, I'm writing a book. Which I may or may not finish. Somebody else might have to finish it, but it's sort of a autobiography memoir thing. You know, it's going to be about as long as Mark Twain's autobiography that was published a few years ago. It's about 800 pages or something like that, or 1,000 pages.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Well, they're going to have to cut it down a little bit, I think, because nobody's going to be interested in me that long.
Oh, I find that hard to believe. We would definitely be interested. John, you have some more questions? I know you.
Yeah. So, you know what's amazing is that movie has such like a cult following. Like I was telling Carlo when he asked me to do the show, I said, I absolutely will be amazing to do the show. We had a big snowstorm coming towards Long Island, and I posted a picture of you from War Games saying there's more snow headed for Long Island. I want visual confirmation. Scrambled 2 F-16s out of Galena, and then we got like a lot more than they forecast. And I said, I've come to the conclusion that your new weather forecasting system sucks. You know.
I don't think that line was in the script. I'm not sure. We did a lot of improvs in that thing.
Was the Barry, was the spark plug line improv or ad lib?
Oh yeah, that was an accident. Matthew came running in and shoved this major out of the way and started working on the computer. And the major said, "No, we can't do that because I'd never let the kid in the computer without a direct order from the general."
Mm-hmm.
So John Badham said to me, "Can you think of a colorful way to order him into the computer?" I said, "I believe I can." And he said, "You want to tell me what it is?" I said, "No, let's just shoot it." So so they just turned the camera on and shot it, and I got a big laugh, from everybody.
Well, we got a surprise for you, Barry. We're going to show it to you right now.
All right.
Games. Try it. John, let's feed it a tapeworm.
That's too risky. It might smash the system.
How'd the kid get in? Through the back door?
We took it out.
Can we invade the deep logic?
You keep hitting a damn firewall.
Wants to play a game, then play it. Have it list games.
Stephen, for Christ's sake.
No, let him. He's played it before.
He can hardly do worse than you have, John.
2 numbers.
God damn it, I'd piss on a spark plug if I thought it'd do any good. Let the boy in there, Major.
List games.
Oh, that's so great. That is so great, though. I just, that's War Games, Barry, is one of those movies, no matter how many times it's on, you'll watch it every single time.
Well, I haven't seen it in many years because I looked too fat in it. They were questioning several people, whether the guys in the Air Force, whether they liked it or not. And all the officers below general loved it.
Right.
The generals, all the generals said, well, that general was about 40 pounds overweight and about 40 points short in IQ. So the generals didn't like it, but everybody else did. Everybody up to colonel.
Well, that character was based on a real life person.
It was actually originally, I think, based on who was the guy who ran for vice president?
Curtis LeMay.
Yeah, Curtis LeMay. But it ended up when they got John Cullen or John Badham in to direct. His dad was a general in the Air Force.
Oh, wow.
So what this turned out to be was sort of based on John Badham's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
A country guy who just sort of came up through the ranks, and he was no nonsense fella, but he had a good sense of humor, and he was from the country.
Oh, wow. Wow.
His only direction to me was wear your uniform like it was overalls.
That's good. I like that. That's good. But you know what? You brought a lot of realism to that role. It reminds you of what like a Southern general would be like, So that was pretty cool. It wasn't. It was well done.
Well, they said that Curtis LeMay was a wise ass. They said that he was smoking a cigar near airplanes on the flight line, and somebody said, "General, you shouldn't be smoking. You can." The planes could explode, and he said they wouldn't dare, and he smoked a cigar.
I grew up in the 80s, so that's my decade.
Yeah, me too.
And I find myself, even during the pandemic, Barry, watching older stuff. Not to knock the new movies. Believe me, there's a lot of people out there with talented people, but for some reason, I just find myself watching the stuff that's from the 80s and stuff like that. One of the movies I really enjoyed over the years, and I wanted to ask you because you got to play with a living legend, Nothing in Common with Jackie Gleason. What was it like being on the set with Gleason?
Well, I never was on the set with him. I never met the man.
Oh, really?
I heard a lot of stories about him, but we never met. He worked at a different time than I did.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's what people don't realize, that I don't think, is that, even like Star Trek II, the Wrath of Khan, Ricardo Montalban never was on the set with William Shatner or the crew, because he was from a Fantasy Island. He filmed on the screen, and they never were on at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's the way they put those things together, and they don't put them together in order. Of course, we know that, but maybe some of your audience doesn't know it. So you always have to figure out where you are in the story.
Right, I hear you.
You don't want to peak too soon, So you got to figure out where you are in the story and all this stuff. It's all this technical nonsense that you got to do before you even start shooting.
And continuity too. Like if something changes, I've seen mistakes in movies where, like in Top Gun, like the first scene you see the commanding officer, he's got ribbons and wings, and then the next scene he's just got ribbons.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those continuity things in movies.
Yeah, a lot of times in the Western, you'll see a guy and he's got 2 pistols on, and the next scene he doesn't have any.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
He got to put on his gun belt.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I know you met these two. So Pryor and Gene Wilder. Now, what was that like? How was it? Was it hard for you to keep a straight face with those two on set?
Not really. It was fun working with them. I mean, well, they're so different. Richard was very kind of quiet, and he was sort of suspicious of everybody. And Gene was like a kid, you know. He got on that bucking machine, and he kept wanting to raise it faster, get it faster. And but Richard, when we'd go into that maximum security where we shot the prison yard, it was in Arizona State Prison in Florence, Arizona. We'd have to go through like 5 gates, and every time they'd shut one behind us, he'd jump. By the time we'd get to the where all the cons were, all the guys that were extras, they were convicts. And Richard would go sit in the corner and just watch. Gene would get out there and play basketball with them, shove them out of the way, elbow them, all kind of crazy stuff.
Oh, wow.
Popular among the convicts.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing.
I was semi-popular among them because I was the only guy down in the yard wearing a suit.
Yeah. Now, Barry, you've done so many. I mean, you got over 200 movies and TV shows under your belt. I know as an actor, you just want to be working. You love plying your trade and everything. But do you have a preference? Do you prefer movies over TV, or is it just depends on how many zeros are on the check?
Well, pretty much that. I like it. The process is all the same. You know, you look at the script and you analyze. If you have time, sometimes you don't have time. Sometimes they just throw it at you, and you got to go in and kind of bluff it. But you analyze the script, where your beats are, what you know, all that technical stuff before you go in, and then you go in and you have very little rehearsal time. You just shoot it, you know. So you do all your homework and go in there and just I try to learn my lines a little ahead of time and then forget them. So I'm not thinking about my lines. I'm thinking about talking to somebody.
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
And so that's kind of the way I do it. A lot of people do it different. A lot of people say they like movies better because you get more time to rehearse and more time to. I don't like that because I like to do it in about 2 takes and then move on, you know.
Mm-hmm. Right, right. No, I hear you.
I start getting sour after about 5 takes.
I know this is going to be a hard question for you. Is there a personal favorite that you have that you either movies or TV that you did that you're like, wow, I'm glad I was a part of this?
Well, my personal favorite's probably my next one, whatever that is. No, I don't have. That's like asking me which one of my kids is I prefer. Well, I love them all equally, but some of them are ugly. You don't want to, you don't want to show favoritism to any of them.
No, I hear you. I hear you. John, do you have any questions?
Yeah, how long did it take to film the NORAD scenes in War Games?
I think we were working on that for about a month. I think it's about a month. It may have been a little more than that, but I think that is about a month.
You know what's amazing about that opening scene is you see John Spencer and Michael. Was it Michael Madsen, Carlo?
Yeah.
Madsen, yeah.
In the beginning scene, and when I saw that as a kid, and then I saw them in other things. I mean, John Spencer was on L.A. Law. He was in The West Wing.
Oh, yeah.
And then you go back and you see them when they're like young, and it's oh my God, that's
Yeah, Madsen's still around. He's still working.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've been in so many movies. I was actually watching a movie the other day, and it's one of my favorites. It wasn't like a big box office smash, but it was Kenny Rogers' Six Pack.
Oh yeah, that was the first movie Kenny ever did.
And then you played John Stone, the sheriff.
And Big John Stone.
Yeah, and then Kenny Rogers shows up in like a Boy Scout uniform and tries to impersonate them to get his kids out of jail. It was so funny. But
Yeah.
Now, are you currently working on any projects now, Barry? Because I know Linda said that you were working.
Oh, let's see. I just finished a movie, and I think the name of it is The Funny Thing About Love. I think that's the name they've settled on now. It used to be called Love, Laughter, and Pumpkin Pie. It's a family movie about Thanksgiving, you know.
Okay. Are you the romantic lead in this movie, or?
Well, I play the kind of the semi-diabetic grandfather and great grandfather. I hide in the closet and eat cookies. End up stealing a pumpkin pie and going into a diabetic coma. But really, it's bad. It's a fake.
That's funny. That's funny. Oh my God! I just wanted to let you know, the show is syndicated on American Forces Network, so a lot of our servicemen and women will hear it and will see it live. And I just wanted to let you know, Barry, that the importance of what you do and how it helps those, men and women, especially the ones that are in forward areas. And if General Martinez was here, he would explain to you. It's always great that we thank our men and women for their service, but he wanted me to extend this to you and say thank you for the entertainment value that you guys provide, because, if, like, for an example, if you have a base out in Afghanistan where there's not, they're busy all day doing their thing, and they may have an hour or two, some downtime, and they get to watch a movie that you were in or a TV show, and it brings them home for a few minutes. Yep. And I just wanted to personally thank you on their behalf for that, for the entertainment value that you provided for so many years.
Well, I want to thank all the men and women who make it possible for me to do what I do. And you're out there, and you're my heroes. I love you. I was in the Marine Corps for a little while, but not for long. I was in before Vietnam, between Korea and Vietnam. So we didn't see much action. We got a little scared during the Cuban Missile Crisis, but that's about it. But we sure do appreciate all your service and your sacrifices, and thank you very much.
Absolutely. And, Barry, I just wanted to let you know that as a big fan of yours, that anytime that if you finally get the book up and running, or if you have another movie project, I want you to always know you have an open door to come and visit us and talk with us. And I'd love to maybe down the road introduce you to General Martinez. I know you'd have a ball with him.
I'd love that. And I also got another plug. I'm on the number 4 Yellowstone and the new season coming up.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
So I've got that in the can. I've got the love, some funny thing about love, and I'm also about to go do another 911 Lone Star.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I leave. I was supposed to leave yesterday, I think, but they put that off, and now I'm leaving. I think Sunday, but I'll be on there eventually.
Oh, well, now is this a one-day shoot, or it's going to be recurring, or?
Well, I've already played the part once. I was the character Judd, play his father.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I'll be repeating that this time, and I expect I'll be back again. They usually, if they bring in a relative, they bring him in more than once.
Yeah. Before we let you go, Barry, could you just share maybe a funny story for our troops, to maybe give them a little something that maybe happened on a movie set or on a TV show that maybe you could share with us, something behind the scenes that you've never shared before, or something?
Well, I can tell you a story about Northern Exposure.
Oh, okay.
There was the last season, by the last 2 seasons, I didn't like the way the scripts were going, so I started a war with the producers and all of them, and the network and everybody else. I got cantankerous, and I was the only one nominated for an Emmy that year. Last year we were doing it. And so the producer in California, we shot it up in Washington, producer sent a notice up to the line producer in Washington saying that I couldn't appear at the Emmys that year, and because I would be working. And I said, well, that's going to look awful funny in the tabloids, isn't it? The line producer said, what does that mean? I said, it means I've got a publicist too. So I told my publicist that, we'd have to do something about it. Finally, they said, okay, you can go. And but we can't, we don't have it in the budget to fly you down there. I said, well, I'll just take the Alaska Airlines, and back in the steerage part. That'd be fine. They said, well, what about, we don't have enough money for a hotel room for you. I said, oh, I'll just stay in the Motel 6.
Oh my God.
They said, well, we can't get you a limousine. And I said, oh, that's all right. I'll find some way to get there. So
I'll just ride up on a steer.
I called a buddy of mine and I said, if you got a couple of bomb-proof horses that I can ride in Pasadena, and he said, what for? I said, well, I want to ride up to the Emmys, me and my daughter.
Oh my God.
He said, yeah, I've got a couple of paint horses, real flashy looking. I said, okay, that'll be good. And so they finally did relent, and they flew me down there and gave me a hotel room and a limousine. But I'd already made the deal with my friend who was going to loan me the horses, and so I said, well, okay, you guys ride in the limousine. When we get where we're going, you jump out and take the horses and run off with them. Because I didn't know how I was going to get rid of the horses,
Oh my God.
So that's what we did. We rode up on horseback, and people were cheering and raising hell. And the horse I was riding was a young horse, and he was nervous. So we stopped on the red carpet, and he lifted his tail and left him a deposit right there. And my daughter was terrified she's going to break her ankle getting off that horse in high heels. Well, she didn't. Everything went fine. And then walking along up to Army Archer, that old boy that announced these things, and he said, well, you picked an interesting way to come into the Emmys. Is there a story behind that? Oh, boy, that left me a good opening.
Oh, my God. That's a shame. I'm surprised, though, as an Emmy winner, that you had to go through all this. I'd hate to see how they treat people who didn't win the Emmys.
Yeah, well, I didn't win it, but I said apparently Universal and CBS and the producers and all of them aren't making enough money selling coffee cups and T-shirts to pay for my way down here. So I took the cheapest transport I could find.
Oh, well, yeah.
That was the last time I worked for Universal for about 10 years.
Oh, boy.
I think CBS, it is 15 years before I worked for them again.
Oh,
now
boy.
I think I'm forgiven, but they didn't like me much for a while.
It's all water under the bridge. And you know what?
Yeah.
Barry.
And it was all, but man, it was worth it. It was fun.
Oh, yeah.
That was
what's funny? It's like you always expect people that are on TV or in movies to be in first class or business. Do you know Paul Guilfoyle? Have you ever worked with Paul Guilfoyle on a project?
With who?
Paul Guilfoyle. He was in Air Force One. He was staff.
I know that.
He's in like a million. And so he's standing right next to me at LAX airport, about to get on the plane. He gets on before me. So I look in first class, he's not there. I look in business, he's not there. He's like 2 rows in front of me back in steerage.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I'm like, Air Force One's a lot better, right? And he said, nah, it's all the same.
Yeah,
he must not have a good agent.
If I pay for my ticket, I sit back there in the back too, but I always try to get a window seat.
Yep.
So nobody, because if anybody spots you, then pretty soon everybody wants an autograph, even if they don't know who you are. They'll keep coming back, and pretty soon the plane starts tipping. And so that makes me nervous.
Hi, I know you're famous, but can I have your autograph anyway, even though I don't know who you are?
Right.
Yeah, sometimes they come up and say, could I have your autograph, Mr. Brimley? So I signed Wilford's name.
I do stand-up comedy, and I had done a show at the Paramount, the big theater on Long Island, and a couple weeks later, this woman sees me in Marshall's, and she's like, "Mr. Santo, I hate to bother you, but can you sign this?" And I said, "Ma'am, you found me in the discount sock section of Marshall's. It's not like I'm overwhelmed, with
that's a hot spot.
Yeah, I'm not at the pinnacle of stardom. I'd be happy to sign it. I'm going to sign it very slowly because I want this moment to last."
Yeah.
You know what? What's funny, Barry? I think the most recent thing that I saw you in was Anger Management with Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
No,
that was funny.
I did another show after that called The Ranch on Netflix. But
yeah,
Charlie was a fun guy. He said when I first met him, he said everything you read about me is true. And I said, "Well, Charlie, everything you read about me is true." And he said, "Well, I haven't read anything about you." I said, "That's because I fly under the radar. You might should have tried it about 30 years ago."
He doesn't know the horse story.
Well, he does too. I told him that.
You told him? Yeah.
He looked for it in the internet, but he couldn't find it. Universal somehow managed all those up. There's not any record of it.
Oh my God, Barry! I cannot thank you enough for coming on and taking your time. Like I said, you have an open door, and I wish you nothing but continued success and to keep going strong and stay safe, even though we seem to be on the tail end of this COVID, but who knows?
I think we are, but I'm not going to give up my mask yet.
Yeah. Barry, before you go, would you do a station ID for me?
You betcha.
You're just going to introduce you, say, "Hey, this is Barry Corbin, and you're listening to Animal House Radio."
All right. You ready?
Whenever you're ready, you go.
Hello, friends. This is Barry Corbin, and you are listening to Animal House Radio.
Perfect. Look at that. See, one time. If he does it after 5 times, then he gets a little loopy. So we got to make sure he gets it in the... Barry, God bless. Thank you so much. And it was an honor to speak to you.
I appreciate it. And next time you get the general on there, call me up.
We will definitely reach out, maybe over the summertime.
All right. Good deal.
Thank you so much. Give him a big... Barry Corbin, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight on our comeback show. It was a pleasure to have you. And John, as always, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we'll see you all next time right here on Animal House Radio Live. Have a great night, everybody.